Well, one of the things I say is I notice Bill Barr's out there trashing former President Trump, and I think he's on cable TV more than erectile dysfunction commercials at this point, Sean Hannity. I don't know what his problem is, but there's a couple of issues here I would raise with him and the nation. Who's in charge of this investigation? It's the Attorney General of the United States. He hasn't recused himself. He hasn't appointed somebody else. He's in charge of every aspect of this investigation, including the search warrant. So that is a huge problem. It's unprecedented. We have Donald Trump, a former president, who may want to be president again. So this whole thing is outrageous. And let's sit back and ask ourselves a question. What the hell is this really about? Oh, they're going to say it's about classified documents. And then when you bring that up, they say, no, no, it's about obstruction. And no, it's about stealing documents. No. So it's a constant moving, but we have a leak here in the Washington Post, a document describing a foreign government's military defenses, including its nuclear capabilities, was found by FBI agents who searched former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence and private club last month. According to people familiar with the matter, well, who would that be? It's the Department of Justice and the FBI, underscoring concerns among U.S. intelligence officials about classified material stashed in the Florida property. Number one, that Florida property's protected like Fort Knox. Those are government Secret Service agents who are around that compound. It's not, a country club. It has a gate that you have to get through. It has I don't know if it's an iron door or what it is, these two massive doors. These men are armed, so it's not like this stuff is all over the place. That's number one. But isn't it ironic, America, that the very Department of Justice that's leaking the existence of this information to the Washington Post for the whole world to see, is now concerned that this information was at Donald Trump's home, guarded by the Secret Service, and we never knew about it. We only know about it now because the Department of Justice keeps leaking about it, violating Donald Trump's due process rights. Right, Bill Barr? I don't hear you talking about that. Now, the media are out there saying Trump needs to be indicted. Indicted for what? Can you imagine what would have happened if the enemy got this information? If the enemy got what information? Well, this information that was leaked to the Washington Post. Oh, really? Well, can you imagine if we had presidents who actually gave information to the enemy that endangers our national security? Here's one. Bill Clinton. As president, Bill Clinton essentially wiped out any strategic advantage the U.S. had by selling advanced U.S. missile technology to our enemy, the People's Republic of China. This is in the capitalresearch.org. And they're right. I remember when this happened. One of the key technological breaks China received without having to spy to get it was the deliverance of supercomputers once banned from export for security reasons. They underpin the technology of nuclear missile warfare, and not only for firing and controlling the missiles, they can simulate a nuclear test and so forth and so on. Wow! What are we going to do about Clinton? Apparently nothing. According to the Wall Street Journal, from Clinton days, a bipartisan congressional inquiry found Beijing has stolen U.S. design data for nearly all elements. Wow, so Clinton didn't keep this stuff very safe. I think if it was a Mar-a-Lago, the Chinese never would have gotten it. Oh, here's another one. Obama, by Bill Gertz in the Washington Times. Obama recently shifted authority for approving sales to China of missile and space technology from the White House to the Commerce Department. Now, why did he do that? Because these federal contractors want more lenient export controls. It's the Export Control Act. To take it out of the White House, where the president's office is responsible for reviewing and giving it to the Commerce Department, well, what do you think happens then? More and more high-level technology went to the Communist Chinese in the Obama administration. Oh, look at this one. Business Insider. Obama just made a quiet nuclear deal with Communist China. Well, what did he do? What did he do? He notified Congress that he intends to renew a nuclear cooperation agreement with China. And it was so quiet, it was under the radar. Even Congress didn't realize they were notified. It would allow Beijing to buy more U.S.-designed reactors and pursue a facility or the technology to reprocess plutonium from spent fuel. China would also be able to buy reactor coolant technology that experts say could be adapted to make its submarines quieter and harder to detect. Well, guess what? It happened. Oh, look at this. Joe Biden, Reuters, the U.S. Department of Justice will end a program focused on fighting Chinese espionage and intellectual property theft, shifting from what an official called a myopic focus to address threats from a broader array of hostile nations. Now, why did they do that? Because they thought this was racial profiling of the communist Chinese government that's stealing our technology. Now, we have people all over TV, former federal prosecutors who are a dime a dozen. There's thousands and thousands of them. And Mr. Bill Barr going on and on about how grave this is, about how they have him dead to rights, that Donald Trump. So here we have Mar-a-Lago, which is a compound that is protected by government Secret Service agents. Here we have Mar-a-Lago, which they want you to think is just some kind of a country club, where none of the information has been leaked, including to the Washington Post. So the only leakers here are the Department of Justice, and they do not want a special master. Why? Why, America? It's a cover-up. That's why. They don't want you to know everything that the Department of Justice grabbed out of Donald Trump's home. And so we're supposed to indict Donald Trump over this. Wait a minute. I thought we were going to indict Donald Trump over January 6th. Wait a minute. I thought we were going to indict him for violating the emoluments clause. Wait a minute. I thought we were going to indict him over his federal tax returns. Wait a minute. I thought we were going to indict him over his colluding with the Russians. Ladies and gentlemen, these bastards are no good. I don't care if they're dressed up as attorneys general or FBI agents or members of the media or members of Congress. If you want to select Donald Trump as your nominee, select him. Do not let these people make that decision for you. You choose who you wish. But they want to control who the Republicans choose, and they hate Donald Trump. If Donald Trump was so weak and ineffective, do you think they'd be targeting him like this? And I am sick and tired of this former attorney general and all these former federal prosecutors who do not point out the obvious. Merrick Garland should not be involved in this case. This case is a way big-time overreach that a president cannot be charged under the Espionage Act if he says he acted to declassify, that he obviously didn't steal the documents because the FBI knew where they were. What is he going to do? Shove them in his mattress? No, no, no. Shove them in his wife's underwear drawer? Well, apparently not. Meanwhile, they took attorney-client privileged information, potentially information in which he would assert executive privilege, we don't know yet, private information, clothing, passports, and all the rest. I'm not big on the Stasi, whether they're dressed up as the FBI or not. That's it.
Want to see more Mark Levin? Go to LevinTV.com and subscribe now.